I'm just really, there we go, really excited for everyone to hear what Hakeem has to say. Okay, everybody, welcome to our community conversation this week. Today's topic is building trust at no cost, right? So building that community trust at no cost with our speaker, Hakeem Ruiz. My name is Shanya. I will be your host today, joined by Johnny Jenkins, who's going to be our co-host, as we guide y'all all through our presentation today. Our question of the day is, using 10 words or less, how do you practice trust building in your most important relationships? So you can either post in the chat or you can unmute yourself. Just using 10 words or less, how do you practice trust building in your most important relationships? We've had lots of feedback. We've heard listen again, be honest, be open, make sure you're respecting their communication styles. Dr. Boyd mentioned active listening. We want to make sure that we are listening to listen and not listening to respond. We want to be consistent. We don't want to overpromise. We want to be open and not have judgment. We want to be transparent and reliable, right? My granddad said, if you say you're going to do it, you need to do it. So those are a lot of the different things that we kind of had in the chat. But if y'all can keep sharing what y'all feel, again, if you want to unmute, feel free. But just take a look at the chat and see if any of those resonate with you. Johnny, what about you? What are some things that are that you feel are important in trust building in your most important relationships?
Oh, thanks for asking, Shania. I think everybody is touching on a lot of the core aspects of trust building. One that I haven't seen yet is, and I guess it's probably could be considered a part of active listening, is being present, right? Don't just be present in a room, but be present in the conversation and be present in receiving what you're hearing from the organizations and from the people within that community, and whomever you're looking to build trust with. If they don't feel like you're hearing them and it looks like they're speaking to somebody who's looking through them through like blind eye, just like it's going over your head, or you're on your mobile phone, then that tells me that you're not really interested in what I have to say. And that tells me you don't have any value in my input in it. And when you're building bridges to communities, it's really important to be present and to be actively listening in those. So I think y'all all got great points. Those are some of my key thoughts.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you. And that's spot on. I do agree that I think it falls within that active listening, but I think that's a component of it that deserves some highlight.
Yeah.
All right. I think we have about a minute left if anyone else wants to share. Let's see if we have anyone.
Hi, this is Sheila Sagerson. I just jumped on a little late. Has anyone talked about Camp Maddie behavior yet?
Not yet. We're about to jump into national updates in just a couple minutes.
Okay, sorry, jumped on late.
No worries, you're all right.
Hi, this is Cindy in Girard, Kansas, and I have a horse sanctuary. And for me, I demonstrate that by knowing what I know and backing it, but acknowledging what I do not know without embarrassment, and then responding with an accurate answer. So I don't bluff. I don't act like I know more than I know. And that to me is really important.
That's spot on, I think. Thank you. Because I think a lot of us can feel, when we don't know, that sense of, oh no, but acknowledging that you don't know and then seeking that out is really important. So thank you.
Yeah. And we don't always have to be the expert in the room either, do we?
Right.
Sometimes the people we're engaging are the experts just simply through their lived experiences. Mm-hmm. So it's important to respect community wisdom, which I tend to do a lot of. And when you hear community wisdom and you try to figure out, well, what does community wisdom actually mean? Just think about people's lived experiences and what they do to survive from day in, day out, and realize that they're developing strategies to survive that work for them. And until, as activists, advocates for animal well-being, we could learn a lot from how they are interacting with their animals in their communities, right? So they have something to share that's valuable to and contributing to the conversation as well.
I love that. Thank you. Thank y'all all for sharing. I think y'all have set the tone for the conversation that we are going to have today, which is really exciting. Next, we are going to jump into our grant winners by Maddie's. So if y'all want to go ahead and take that away and give some people some money, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Hey, Shanya, thanks so much. My name's Kelly Clarity, and I am the grants manager at Maddie's Fund. And I'm good to announce these grants. And I'm going to keep this really quick because I know we're all excited to hear from Hakeem as well. So let me share my screen and get on. All right, so Shanya or Johnny, can I get a thumbs up if you can see this? Oh, awesome. All right, so we've got our prize winners from February for the weekly community conversations. That's the call we're all on right now. We've got 2 winners from February, $2,500 each. That's Maggie Hudson from One Tale at a Time in Chicago, and Beverly Paladinetti, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, from Perfect Peaches in Douglasville, Georgia. And then we've got our Maddie's Pet Forum giveaway winner. One winner of $3,000. And that's Lori Ann Sloniker of SPCA Cincinnati in Ohio. So congratulations, everyone. And if our 3 winners are on, I'd love if you want to pop on real quick and say hi for like 20 seconds, because I know we've got a big a big talk plan tonight.
Hi, I'm LA or Lorianne Sloniker from SPCA Cincinnati. And I just want to say I was dumbfounded when I received the email and had to read it probably 6 to 10 times to make sure I read it correctly. And I'm just so very grateful. Thank you so much for the grant. I really appreciate it. It will be put to good use.
Oh, good. Well, thank you for everything that you do, Lori Ann. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Maggie or Beverly, are y'all on?
Yeah. Hi, Maggie from Chicago here. I'm with One Tale at a Time here in Chicago. Also was dumbfounded, did not expect that. So really appreciate it. And we actually had, we're a dog, cat, and critter rescue, and we had a really tough case come in at the end of last week, a dog who was only 19 pounds when he should have been 50 pounds. And so this grant is going to immediately go to great use, helping cover care for Sweet Sugar Snap. So really appreciate it. And also want to say a quick hi to Johnny and Hakeem. We met at the CARE gathering last year, and I am so excited to hear what y'all have to say today.
Oh, well, thanks for joining us, Maggie, and thanks for helping out Little Sugar Snap.
Hi,
All right,
I'm
and-
Beverly Paladinetti, and I was so excited to get this grant. Like everyone else, we have a large influx of pets that need, cats that need surgeries right now. So this grant is going to go to very good use. So we are very grateful for this grant, and I really do think Maddie and everyone on this call, it's just a great thing to receive this money, especially right now when it's so needed.
Well, thank you, Beverly, and congratulations to you. All right, and I think Irene's going to drop the link for everyone to enter to win for our giveaways for March. And Shanya and Johnny, I will pass it back to you.
Thank you, Kelly, and congratulations to all of our winners. We know that y'all are all doing amazing work and that y'all will continue to do work with that support. So next we are going to jump into national updates. So now is the time. If you have any national updates to share, feel free to unmute and share your updates or post in the chat. Please keep your updates to under 1 minute just to make sure that we can make time for the rest of today's programming. And it looked like Sheila might have had one.
Yes, thank you so much, Shanya. So excited I accidentally jumped on early. I'm announcing two things. The first is Camp Maddie Behavior, which is 2 half-day events that are free on March 20th and April 3rd from 9 a.m. Pacific to 1 p.m. Pacific. The recordings will be available after the fact. Lots of amazing speakers focusing on dog behavior, risk assessment, who's safe to place, how do we get those dogs into homes. That's the first I wanted to talk about. The second is our next Maddie's Insight webcast, gearing up for kitten season, which is just around the corner. We're going to be hearing from some research scientists at the ASPCA who are going to be talking about increasing engagement in kitten fostering programs and lessons learned from high intake areas in Los Angeles County. So all of these are free webcasts. Hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Thanks, Sheila. All right. And thank you, Irene and Allison, for posting in the chat. Do we have any other national updates?
Hey everyone, Amber Evie here from Maddie's Fund. Real quick, just wanted to let folks know that we are still accepting applications for the Open Arms Challenge, and we will be accepting applications until 5 p.m. Pacific time on March 6th. So I'll drop the link in the chat, or Irene and Allison will, and we can't wait to see your applications. Thank you.
Hey, Amber, real quick, this is Cindy with Victor Horsehaven. Am I correct that applicants are dog and cat specific, or do you include horse rescue as well for the open arms?
No, that is a great question. Thank you for asking. So Maddie's Fund, excuse me, we focus on programs that are for dogs and cats. So if your horse rescue has dogs and cats programs, you can apply for those, but we can't fund programs that are horse or other animal specific.
Okay, and would that include barn cat rescue?
Yes, barn cat rescue could apply.
Okay,
TNR, anything keeping animals in their environments or keeping pets with their people, any of that good work can apply.
Okay, thanks.
My pleasure. And you can always email us at grants@maddiesfund.org if you have any other specific questions.
Thank you, Amber, for clarifying that. All right, y'all. So if y'all won't have any other national updates, if y'all want to go ahead and pop those into the chat, remember this will be transcribed over in Maddie's forum, so you can go back through, and as people read back through, they'll have that as well. So now it's going to be time to announce our wonderful presenter today. We are super, super excited to have them here. Johnny, did you want to go ahead and introduce Hakeem?
Sure, it'd be my pleasure to. So I've had the honor of working with Hakeem for the last couple of years at CARE, Companions and Animals for Reform and Equity. And I've had multiple opportunities to see his work firsthand on how he connects with community, how he builds trust. I met him in Philadelphia while he was working within leadership with the Block That Gives Back, which during the pandemic, they were giving food away to the community, a community in Philadelphia called Tacony, I believe. Hopefully I got that right. And he and his peers just took charge and received food, prepared it, and gave it out to the community. They ended up having lines of cars coming up to where they were stationed at to receive food when people were in need of food during the height of the pandemic. So he's been doing this work firsthand in the community before even getting with CARE, right? And now he serves as the president of the Block That Gives Back in Philadelphia. And he also honors CARE by serving as our director of the Northeast CARE Centers in Philadelphia. So he has a lot of territory to he has responsibility for in terms of operating the human and animal well-being framework. And also he's pulling double duty by still doing his great community work with the Block That Gives Back. So with no further ado, let me present to you Hakeem Ruiz.
Wow, Johnny, I don't know if I could even follow up properly to an introduction like that, but I hope I live up to it. So thank you for the beautiful introduction, Johnny. Thank you to Maddie's Fund. I appreciate you guys giving me a space to share something that I consider myself to be really good at. So I think this is something that a lot of people will enjoy. And if I may just give a couple more thanks, I see a lot of my team is in here. I shouted out a lot of the people that are from the East Coast, but I would love to say I'm so grateful to see a lot of my West Coast friends are in here. Nadia, Allison, so many more. Thank you guys for embracing me the way you have in this field. So I'm looking forward to sharing all this information with you guys. All right, are we all ready once this goes? Allison, you working with me? All right, so.
Yeah. Just tell me when to change.
Gotcha. All right, so everyone, thank you for being here with us. I'm gonna talk kind of fast. I tend to do that. I think it might be an East Coast thing, so I hope all the words are clear enough, and I hope I'm being good with my explanations of certain things. So this sounds like a trick at some point, but building community trust at no cost. It's a key of not just building that community trust, but making sure that it is something that is natural, something that is brought for free, something that is brought through actual trust. So this is where we're going to, go through some details, some information about working with different community groups, some of my own experiences, and obviously not one shoe fits all. This is going to be something that, you can try on for size, see how it works out for you. But the main thing I want to start off by saying is that within this nonprofit space, the cost portion is so important. There's so much to consider when it comes to, getting different funds and honoring grants. So with all the community in mind, it's always important to remember that this is not our money. That is one thing that I always love to tell my team. This is the community's money. How can we involve them as much as possible to make these decisions without taking too long to make decisions, without making uneducated decisions? So the key of this all will be, how can we make this most effective for the community and ourselves included, because burnout is such a serious thing that we overlook at times, and we don't want to get burnt out with our efforts. So this is just our introduction slide, and we could jump into the next one. What is community trust? Community trust sounds pretty basic. It sounds like something we all are aware of. So I want to give an idea of what community trust is beyond just the obvious. So I added this video here of my good friend
and
Reggie.
we just have a good time, and then that's like we get the.
So yeah, while just a brief introduction of it, no problem. Brief introduction of it. This is just one of his experiences with seeing community trust. He's not actually speaking to it, but just explaining what it feels and looks like. So this is in regards to an event we do every April in Philadelphia where we clean streets, and he's just speaking a little bit about the community trust aspect of it. So you can go ahead and play the video.
And we just have a good time, and then that's like we get to connect and learn what everybody in the community needs, and also. For me, it's so touching because I feel like nowadays we drifted away from love. Like everyone's so fast to be nasty, you know what I mean? And like when we're there, it's none of that. It's like it feels like a community, I feel like there isn't enough community, and that's why I'm always volunteer at the.
So it feels like community. That is such a big thing that needs to be felt, not just heard, not just understood, but it needs to be felt. Reggie at this time, I believe, was 22. He was only volunteering with us for about a year. And, I took him to this opportunity where he was just able to really grow and spread his energy. And Sharon knows who Reggie is. A lot of the CARE team knows who Reggie is. Just a very serious volunteer with us. And he met me through community trust. So briefly on our story, as Johnny was saying, we do certain things in the community where we're giving out food in the streets. One of those cars that were passing by happened to be Reggie and his friend Alex, who are now 2-3 years in as volunteers. I offered them food and they tried to deny it with a smile. And I said, no, trust me, you're going to want this later. Sure enough, he's been around nonstop since then. I earned his trust by showing him how much I'm there for him. And he told me he did actually eat that food later. So just a brief comment on the images you're seeing. Up in the top right, that is my friend Angel partying with our $50,000 grant check, which says Grant John, some Philly slang, which is just to show that we were given trust from not just the community, but also the people in power to take care of our community. And as you see in the picture, people having a good time, enjoying their involvement with that donation. And over in the second picture over there, that is everyone putting their hands on the check. That was my way of showing them that this isn't just about the Block Gives Back. This isn't just about Hakeem. This is about everyone in this room, because the community is all of us. So please put your hands on this, because you had a hand in this. So making sure the community is not only feeling trust from you, but making sure you know that they are involved and you are involved with them. So it's a joint effort. As Reggie was saying, a lot of times people lead with nastiness, but we want to lead with love. And one way to show them that is by sharing the wins with them and showing that you are able to be trusted as well. We can go on to the next slide. All right, so this one is one of my favorite terms. I've probably said this in 100 different podcasts by now, every time I'm on a podcast. It's rather simple, but not everyone's heard it. And when I first heard it, it blew my mind. Community is very simple: common unity. So when you consider common unity, it's just us coming together for the same purpose. We have to have something in common. And then when you add in the trust, very simple definition: firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. And that is where we need to understand our power as a community organization, as just community people, and what we have a role in, and how we can develop trust, and also how we can hurt trust. So if I, as a community leader or community organization leader, do something that is not, in the best interest of the community, or doesn't come through, as a lot of people are saying in the chat, being able to come through on your promises is a very big one, because now they may not trust easily. So the picture I included here is from one of our most struggling neighborhoods. It's a neighborhood called Kensington. We are not located in that neighborhood, but we are very affiliated with it. We connect with a lot of different organizations that are in there, and they have a ton of reason to not trust. But thankfully, they do trust us. Now, I know the picture is a little dark, but there is probably well over 50 to 100 volunteers right there. And those are just our volunteer team. And they served, I want to say, about 1,000 people that day. So the way we are able to interact with different communities is not just because we have something to offer. A lot of people have something to offer, but it comes at a cost sometimes. So this is the community trusting us, with us not only giving them something, but us being able to see that it's equal partnership on both sides. And that creates the common unity. So we're unified within our love of the community, essentially. And we can carry on. Oh, there it goes. I was wondering where that was. So just the definition of community right there. So just some insight on, the basics of community, but it is something that is evolving every day. We are the community as long as we have something in common. We can go to the next slide. All right, goals within community trust. So you're not just reaching for straws. We're making sure that, things are actually going to have something obtainable. We got to have goals in this. So I got a few examples here that I can speak on. True partnership. Your cards are on the table. Making sure that when you're trying to engage in a partnership, when you're talking to someone about partnership, you want to make sure they know that, hey, I'm giving you my all, and I want you to give me your all. And if we can't, let's make sure we're very honest and clear about that. What are your time commitments? What is your major goal in this? What are your other goals aside from this work? So I make sure I understand how I can best assist you, and also not take too much of your time, too much of your energy on one particular project. So true partnership is being able to have, a lot of mutual interest in each other's projects beyond what you're just working on exclusively together. Then you have equal access. So it essentially kind of goes hand in hand with the true partnership, but to make sure that if we're doing a community cleanup, as I was speaking about the ones we do in April, if I have a contact that is good for picking up the trash that we collect, and someone else is doing a cleanup in the summer, I will gladly share that connection with them. I want to make sure that they have the access to that. And not only that, my contact continues to potentially stay in business or get more use, different ties to the community that they may not have had before. And it has grown through myself or my organization, The Block Gives Back. And it just becomes a win-win for everyone involved, but you need to have equal access. I've been in some partnerships where people have a lot of red tape up on who they're actually able to give us contacts for. And sometimes that's understandable, privacy, but we always want to make sure that with true partnership and with true community trust, you're sharing whoever is beneficial to the situation, even if it's no financial gain, no, word of mouth takes things very far. So when we're sharing these contacts, everyone wins, which leads to the next one. Shared wins. I win, you win. Celebrate with us. When you see your partner doing something good, it's unrelated to you. Let them know, I seen what you did. Our two winners from the fund. Congratulations, Maggie. I'm so happy to see people winning. We need to make sure that we're not just there when people are trying to build something up, not just there when they're struggling, but we're also there when they're winning. That's how we are really able to see trust, who is there for you no matter what, which is unconditional. And then the bigger picture. So when you win, I win, and we need to continue to win, maybe together, maybe not. Sometimes people grow in different directions. Organizations create new objectives. You need to have the bigger picture in mind at all times, and the future plans are always going to be there to continue to pick up on. So I'm going to cite the picture as a reference. This is an event that was put on by the Physician's Assistants of Philadelphia. There was a college program for maybe a couple hundred students. They selected the Block Gives Back as their charity of choice to donate to for their numerous fundraising efforts. And I went to just collect our winnings that day, which was, I believe, 24,000 plus. And I seen each college in Philadelphia that participated, which I think was 9 different ones: Arcadia, Temple, Drexel, and so on. They all had their different colored the Block Gives Back shirts, which made me feel unbelievable. So the trust that they had for us to not only select us, but then also represent us in that way and really build around us, that showed true partnership with that program to not only give us a very nice fund that helped us out, but also to show that they were invested and they cared and they were intrigued by what we had going on. So our bigger picture now can grow with these people that have graduated college now and are going to potentially be involved with us moving forward. Next slide, please. All right, this is the fun one. So I got a couple different voices from the community. I don't want you just to hear me. This is not about me. This is about the community. So these are things that we have going on with several different layers of our community. So we got to ask, who is the community? Is it just anyone? It kind of is. It could be any walk of life. It could be any style of interaction that you have when going down the street. So it starts with small and local business. Here's an example of who the community is as far as small and local business and how we can make sure that we're aligning with them to build trust. If you could play the video. It's one that we could.
Hey, Keith, what are you going to say for yourself today?
Listen, Smoking Soul Food has done their thing. They came through for Mother's Day big time. Everyone in Frankfurt is getting down right now, eating the best, the most, the finest of quality food. We got some fish, got some chicken, got a chicken finger. I got a...
Make a...
Oh, this is
enjoying
the Soul
isn't
Food
even
Mother.
a word.
She's the creator of all this
I'm about to be real quiet. I'm going to take a nap over here in a minute.
So that is me making sure that I appreciate the people that were participating in a local event. Yeah, sorry to make you hungry, Connie. It definitely just made me a little hungry. They do make incredible food. But I didn't know that person prior to the event. I was reached out to them by a third party that said, hey, they would like to contribute. It was for a Mother's Day event. And not only that, to that event, I wore a local nonprofit shirt. So within this promotional video where I'm promoting Spoken Soul Food, I'm also wearing Safe Hub, a community partners shirt. And I'm able to really expand what their mission is just by showing that brand recognition. And this is the type of thing that'll keep people involved. So I can share that video again as we head towards Mother's Day. And those people will want to reach out again and say, hey, how can we help again? Because maybe they are too busy, fulfilling orders. They're a business, but small and local business also wants to get involved with the community, but we have to connect with them and we have to show them the benefits of it. When you share something like any social media post, it creates free content for them. And if we want them to donate, if we want them to get involved, we have to remember what their involvement is, and they need to make money. They need to stay in business. So we can support them the same way they can support us. And as simple as just eating the food, which was delicious, but even if it wasn't, I would make sure hey, these are good people. And, you have to stay true to your word. I wouldn't necessarily say it was delicious food, but I would say these are great people. So there's always a way to go about supporting your small and local business. And then we can continue on to community orgs.
Really excited to introduce many of the orgs tonight.
My name is Hakeem. I'm from an organization called The Block Gives Back.
And I'm Kate, and I'm from Citizens Climate Lobbies. We're a baby gear group, and Baby Gear Group is a baby gear library.
I'm Michelle from Riverfront North. We have 11 miles of trail that connect 8 different parks.
My name is Sarah McAnulty. I am the president of the Fishtown Neighbors Association.
Berrytown Garden over by the Art Museum. My name is Malcolm. I work for TTF Watershed.
So I work for the rounds. I also volunteer with the community fridge in South Philly.
My name is Elisa. I'm the community engagement coordinator for Sharing Access.
So that is just a taste of who is involved in the community and how we can actually potentially even connect with them. networking events, very key. Always go out to those. Always go out to your police district council meetings, things like that. Different ways to involve with people who are trying to do the work in the community, finding out what they do, and trying to merge partnerships, or even just say, how can we support you? How can we share your flyers? How can we put your information in our stores or pass it out to other stores, so on. So that's a big one, being able to connect with those community organizations. And with them, as I believe Johnny said earlier, you'll never be the smartest person in the room. There is always 100 different elements that go into community work and caring about all areas of your city, neighborhood, state, zip codes, whatever you want to say. Someone else is more of a professional at all times. And I love knowing that. I love going to find out what their community wisdom is and finding out how we can best serve them by learning through them. So those community organizations are key in finding out how to build that trust within their areas. And then lastly, the most simple one, in my opinion, is the everyday people. So please, if we can hit the slide there of Sarah speaking about why we do it.
I just want to know, why do we do what we do?
For the people, for the blocks, for the 215.
Real people. This isn't someone that we hired. This isn't someone that we recruited from anywhere. This is someone who literally grew up as a volunteer within our organization. Sarah was there since she was roughly 16, 17 years old. I believe she's now 23, 24. She has a job working for a nonprofit. She's proud to wear our merchandise right there, be at our events. And as she said, who do we do it for? We do it for the people. We do it for the block, which is the organization, the Block Gives Back. And we do it for the 215, our city. We have to have some pride. We need to make sure we know at all times, who are you doing it for? What is the mission about? And why are we here? So the why is always going to be because we want to do it for the people and with the people. And we can go on to the next slide. All right, so tools to reach people. This one can seem very obvious, but sometimes we forget because things can be so convenient. I do want to point out that reaching people is any kind of people, those community people, those businesses, those organizations. And I'm going to primarily point out family. So in this picture, which is, a little grainy, we might have to zoom to see, but that is my mom and my little brother volunteering. And we are in a subway in Philadelphia, seeking out the less fortunate people, the houseless population of Philadelphia. And we all joined down there on a weekday to make sure we're serving up, quality food for them to eat. And this is where we want to make sure we're not only reaching them exactly where they are, but we're also reaching our volunteers. You got to look in your phone book. You got to look in your, your family events and share share everything that you love, your passions with your people. One of the more famous podcasters right now, Wallow, who is a Philadelphia resident, and he's on the show $1 Million Worth of Game. He said, you need to be annoying with your message. You need to share, promote. Even if people don't like it, those are not your audience then. You need to share with people that are passionate the same way you are. And people will, unfollow, people will contact you less. But the people who stick around, the people that come on, those are the people that matter the most. And I see we got 208 participants in here right now. It is you people. You people are the audience. You're the ones we want to reach. You're the ones that are caring about how this is done. So the tools, social media, seems like we can get on there every day. It's at the click of a hand on our phone. We need to utilize that to not just go through the stories for entertainment, not just looking at reels, but commenting, sharing joy, sharing the wins, making sure people know that we see what they're doing and we are intrigued by, hey, teach me more about this. Or can you tell me about how you contacted that person? And just maybe even simply saying, hey, I would love to show up to your next event. Or did you consider this? Not necessarily in a judgmental way, but just to make sure we're offering help and using social media to show that we are here for you, for your brand. And we want to utilize whatever platform we may have to say, I'm going to also share it. Not only are you intriguing me, not only am I one of the numbers to help you build this out to keep going, but we want to make sure that we're utilizing that to our benefit. Cell phone. The cell phone, we use it every day. We use it all the time, but how do we use it? We need to make sure we're going through our contact list. And this is the exercise that I want to share with everyone that I try to do often. If you have the time, I typically wake up on a Sunday and I think, wow, I don't need to rush out to anything. I'm going to go through my phone book. I'm going to look at each contact in there and think, is there something that I need from them or that they need from me? Or have I just not contacted this person in a while? Let me see how they're doing, whether it's a donor, whether it's a volunteer, whether it's a family member. Just reach out and say, hey, how are you doing? And hopefully you have a little bit of time to engage in a conversation. And along that conversation, the trust is built on both ends to where they might say, hey, what have you been up to? And that's where you can share, oh, I'm promoting a gala coming up next week. Oh, I'm making sure that we have, different resources available in this community. I'm going out on Saturday. Can you join me? Maybe you don't even need to ask the question, but informing them on your time, as well as reaching them through a medium that is comfortable for them. You're not straight up asking them for anything. You were just genuinely checking in because you had the time. But then we have newsletters, and that's not just you creating a newsletter for what you do. Make sure you're subscribing to other people's newsletters, clicking those links, interacting with them. And when you see them in person, let them know, hey, I seen your newsletter. You do great work. And then lastly, community inreach, which is a term that is new to me, that I love, that I first heard from Rachel Ray Williams, who was on our team. And I got a quote from her about what community inreach is. So if I may read it out, hope I don't butcher it a little bit, but here I go. So I believe inreach is an application of community wisdom. Inreach is work that commits to strengthening, supporting, and growing the communities that already exist in the ways that they want to be supported, even if that means staying out of community's way. Inreach is for the people and by the people. And that is perfectly said. We can't just be doing outreach. We need to be inreach. We need to make sure we are accessible and able to help these people with things that matter to them and matter to them today. Not yesterday, not last year. We need to make sure we are relevant with what is going on with the communities and the people that are just in our lives. You have to be in reach. It can be a burden at times. It can be a stressor as far as time management, but being in reach pays off in so many ways. Just being in reach with my friends from California and Maddie's Fund keeps me in the loop of so many things and growing in this field that I used to feel like I was an imposter in. So when I continue to be in reach with them and just connecting with them and asking them questions and not feeling embarrassed to admit that I felt a bit like a stranger in this field, I was able to be welcomed and connected to different partners and connected to different educational forums and just really be able to spread my wings to understand that I am in reach and I do belong here. And when you stay in contact, when you stay up with people and just also finding out what they need and the supports that can help them grow, you're always going to be in reach. So we can go on to the next slide. All right. When is community trust too expensive? This one is very important. I need everyone to understand your time is valuable. Your time is money. That one we can never forget, especially considering, as I said at the start, nonprofits are based around other people's funds. It is not our money. So we need to remember that if you feel like your time isn't being valued, it probably isn't, because you are the best person to determine if your time is being valued. And that doesn't mean that you have to walk away angrily. It doesn't mean you have to turn your back on anything. It just means that you may have to reassess. Maybe it's not the right time. Maybe it's not the right place. So always consider. And I want to point out that this young man in this picture here, his name is Mark. Mark has been through a lot with the Block Gives Back. And whenever we would put him to work as a volunteer, he would always have to ask, like, what am I doing this for? What is it for? And we would explain to him, like, hey, look, your time is being valued. We're doing this because A, B, and C, and he would have a great understanding of it. So secondly, consider what they may have on their plate. What do they have going on? Maybe it's just not the right time for them, and maybe they aren't strong enough to tell you no. One of my favorite words to hear is no, because it helps me understand how to move forward. If you tell me maybe or we'll see, then I'm going to be persistent. I'm going to continue knocking on your door. I'm going to find out how can I be involved. But maybe you have too much on your plate. So making sure you're staying up with their newsletters, their social media. Oh, they have 3 events going on this week. No wonder I couldn't get a text back. It's not just me. It's not that they don't want to work with me. It's just that they're very occupied, and you can be as well. So if someone's trying to get something out of you, make sure they understand what you have going on. Is it beneficial to both parties, which pretty much goes into what I'm saying, and it goes right into the next one. Are you being used? You never want to just help somebody for the sake of just helping them. If it doesn't help the community, if it doesn't have a bigger picture vision, then feel free to say, hey, I don't have the capacity for this, or maybe you can look up this forum, send them an article. You know, the same way we learn these things, sometimes we have to tell them this is how you need to learn it as well. But we need to be open to it. We need to always remember what they have on their plate, whether it be a lot of people who are in community work tend to have to work around the clock because they have a day job. And with those day jobs, you might need to take that Zoom that's at 6 p.m. You might need to hear someone out via text. You might need to, cut off the email portion just because some people aren't grammatically up to par when it comes to feeling comfortable with what they are writing. So we need to really remember that the time is money for them as well. And with their money that is outside of their community organizations and community work, it might be scarce, and they might really need a lot of time to focus on making sure they're going to work and getting their job done right. So all those things need to be brought to the table. Then it leads us to contingency plans. What if those first things don't work out? Don't burn bridges. Your team is always going to be important. Your surrounding community, your network is your net worth. Please never burn a bridge. It is just very important to keep that going. So we also want to make sure we're seeking like-minded partners. Those like-minded partners are just substantial to anything we want to do. It goes unspoken at times about how people don't fit. I've tried to include a spay and neuter clinic at a school bag drive. It just didn't make sense. It would have been nice. Yeah, we might have served a handful of people, but a lot of people probably would have been looking at it like, what is this doing here? This doesn't fit. We didn't ask for this. So always remember to seek like-minded partners and go to it with like-minded approaches as well. So assess approach with proximate leaders and do not be discouraged. Always find out through people that are maybe closer connected to the work than you are, or closer connected to that community, closer connected to that issue, and just find out, hey, is this something that they actually need? Is this something that they would appreciate? How would you do it? What do you think of this color scheme? It could be very simple things. For example, we're having a gala very soon, and in the years past, people did not like the food. They're not coming there for the food. They're coming there to support us. But if we can just find out, hey, if this is something that will help them continue to come, let's try to make that measurement for them. Let's try to make that adjustment for them. So never be discouraged. It is not going to be about you. I believe in the 4 agreements. They say never take things personal. You can't take things personal. Don't be discouraged. You have to keep pushing, and you'll see these people come back around. I have had state representatives and congressmen that in our first year, and now we're in year 8, they'd shake our hands and look the other way. So when that happens, it hurt me. It bothered me. But I use it as motivation. I didn't use it for spite. I didn't turn my back on those people, because those same people ended up granting us permits later on, helping us with grants later on. And maybe they didn't remember us, maybe they did. But bottom line, we were here to do the work we intended to do in the first place. So you can never be discouraged, and you have to take pride in pivoting. When things change, that's fine. That is the way you were meant to align. That is the purpose. That's the mission now. So you have to adjust with that, adjust with your team. Just the way is in this image here, during the pandemic, we had to find a new way to serve. All of our events were canceled for the year. We're like, hey, there's still a need out here. If we can do it in a responsible, safe way, we're going to do it. So we served every week, as Johnny was talking about, during the pandemic, I believe from March 22nd all the way through to sometime the week before April. So we did 52 weeks straight of making sure the community was fed, and not just a basic meal, not just something that was pre-made. We made them fresh food from our office. So it was very important to make sure we took pride in that pivoting. And we can go on to the next slide. As we're closing out, value of community. This one is so important because I always like to say, when you'll see me running crazy prior to an event, when it comes to Saturday at the event, I'm doing nothing. I am watching, I am talking to people, I'm laughing, I'm smiling, I'm making acquaintances and networking. So hands-off work is key. When you get to these events, or when you get to the big picture of the fruition of your work, you should be able to take a step back and just enjoy seeing your community appreciate your work and involve themselves in it. So hands-off work is key, and that only happens by being able to trust your community. You have to be able to know that what you suggested, what you shared, is going to have a good enough example that they can follow up and handle that for you, which leads to genuine support and connections. You're gonna feel like they do it with pride. They're gonna take over your mission and feel incredible about it, because they know that you're a good leader, that you encourage them to do this, and they want to do it to make you proud, your organization proud, city, community, so on. Requested involvement. People are going to want to bring you out. People are going to want to hear from you. People are going to say, hey, that person is not only so trusted in this community, but we need him to talk to another community, or her to talk to another community. We need these people to have their voices projected elsewhere, because they are doing it the right way. Less red tape. People will have way less restrictions for you. A lot of times people have to say, hey, I need you to do this to prove your trust, do that to prove your trust. And it's a good reason. There are probably people that are broken, defeated, and have a lot of mistrust going on. So it's key to make sure that you get that done. For example, this picture here, I was able to take a step back. Unfortunately, my dog Gucci passed a few years ago, and around the time of our school bag drive, which was very busy, and my team made this amazing banner for me, which is a surprise, where they included my dog in the work. And it meant a ton to me, because I was not able to do all the work. I wasn't able to do the endless networking, and people did not forget me. So it meant a ton to be surprised to see my dog as a part of this event because of what I was going through. So as you see, it still creates an emotion within me, and it makes me the voice of the people, that people want to speak for me, even when I'm not able to speak. So that is the value of community, and it is priceless. So always remember that feeling of every project has to have pride, and people will believe in that with you, and people will include your love into those things. And we can go on to the next slide. And this is pretty much the last slide. I'll let myself do the talking for myself here. Community is everywhere. Bring the trust with you everywhere you go. And this is just an example of when it worked elsewhere outside of Philadelphia. And you can play the video.
Get their information for a survey. And I just, acknowledge a similarity in this man. I'm like, where are you from? And he's like, I'm from Philly. I'm like, me too. Where are you from, though? And he's like, I'm from 12th Avenue. I'm from, me too. We from the same neighborhood. He's in Atlanta. So it's just like, hey, this, community thing, it's not just in your proximity. It's not just down the street, around the corner. Oh, man, in Atlanta, I'm finding community. So when you're really, engaging and participating, you can, get just direct results from people that are similar to you, and you're gonna find out, the whole country isn't that different. So it's an amazing thing to be able to go down to Atlanta.
The whole country wants to hear from us. The whole world wants to hear from us. When you have something to do that you believe in, people want to hear your story, and it's just a matter of time before they do. So when you bring that trust with you, when you don't pretend to be anyone else, when you leave with genuine care and connection, when you guys can see me get emotional about my dog, even though that happened 3 years ago, it's the trust that I'm always going to have, the love that my dog brought to me, the love that my community has brought to me. You have to share it everywhere. Love is always going to be the reason. It's always going to be how we start, which Reggie said in the beginning, and then how it ends here. And it doesn't matter where we go. I was in Atlanta. I seen somebody that I felt, I got a good vibe from this guy. Let me just tell him. Let me just say what it is. We have to make sure that it's bigger than our ego. We can drop our egos and say, hey, this is about us. This is about us as a people. Even if I don't live here, even if I don't know exactly what you're going through, let's connect. So that was the purpose of that one. And then we can just go into the last slide. This is just my contact information. If anyone likes what I have to say, want to hear more about it, or know how to connect with some of the things I'm passionate about, CARE Centers, obviously. CARE is an amazing organization that brought me in, just a young guy from Philly with a little bit of experience that has showed me the ropes in this animal welfare industry, and really creating a human and animal well-being connection that has grown into so much amazing work. I started off as vice president. The block is back. Now I'm president, and I just continue to hope to grow within this field of nonprofit and change lives. So please, if anyone needs to reach out, I am an open book. I'm here. If you want to follow me on social media, if you want to connect that way, emails, anyway, I would love to hear from you people. Thank you for being involved with this presentation. And Finn, I've always wanted to say that, so I threw that in there.
Thank you, Hakeem. I'm not going to take up a lot of time saying how amazing that was. I think you can peek through the chat and see just the comments that are firing off. Amazing, absolutely amazing. So we did have 2 questions come into the chat. We have about 4 minutes to take care of them. One question was, have you ever encountered a situation where perhaps other organizations feel competitive, competing for a limited amount of funding, for example, so they don't want to join?
Absolutely. It happens too often. And it's one of those things where you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. And I have always felt partnership is the best way to go about creating, bigger events, better, higher scale things. For example, we partnered to create a music studio in the Kensington neighborhood. That's a neighborhood that's really struggling. The person had a location, they had some funding, and we said, hey, let's get this thing started with you. We got it started, it succeeded. It was a music program that brought kids off the street to record for free, something they wanted to do. And after about a year or so, people started to really get uptight about their involvement. Hey, I did this, I did that. And we backed out. We said, okay, you guys can have it. And to this day, we're still great partners. We're able to connect. We respect each other and what we've done. It's just one of those things where, okay, I understand that there's some issues here that are uncomfortable, but we did not burn that bridge because the community needed that. It's not about what the Block Gives Back did. It's about what the community needed. And that resource is still there. It's still booming. Ironically, and I'm not making this up, I seen somebody earlier this morning and said, hey, I'm back over there at the studio. This guy is maybe 22 now, and he's been going there since he was 17. So just to see that the work is still paying off for people, that's all that's about. We have to remember it's not about us. It's about how we can still help. So even if people don't want to be involved in it, we have to remember it's still a bigger part of the mission. We got into this for a good reason. Got to stay in it for a good reason.
Great answer. That amazing answer. Thank you. And then another question that we saw come through the chat was, do you print or mail paper newsletters. They don't have much response from mailing them, so they've gone to email blast on a monthly basis with their Spotlight newsletter.
So we email them, we do them quarterly to make sure we're not, bombarding people's inboxes, doing too much. Print would be good. We do like a yearly send out as well around the holiday card, just say, hey, hope you're doing well, hope the family's doing well, don't forget about us. Not even asking for any money, no ask, just here's what's coming up next year. We hope you're involved. So always good to give them a little bit, but not too much. And always having something on paper, I think is key, because not everyone is up to speed with their emails. Not everyone is going to be on time with their emails. So always good to remember that even you got some seniors that would love to find out what you're doing, but they're not as tech savvy.
Another great answer. I feel like Family Feud, like good answer. These are great answers. Well, we're right at time, Hakeem, but I just wanted to send my thanks to you. And if you can let the community know, how can they best support you and your programs?
So once again, thank you to Maddie's Fund. Thank you for everyone that was in here. I was trying to speed through the comments. So much love in there. So I would say the best way to support us and connect with us is definitely following Care for Equity on Instagram, checking out our website. We just completed the American Black History Month series. Bark About It narratives. When you go check out our website, careawo.org, amazing stuff on there that you'll want to see. And as well, my personal passion project, The Block Gives Back. Please check out our website. You can go to tbgb.org or theblockgivesback.org. The Block Gives Back on social media. And from there, I'm sure you'll see me tagged at some point if you want to connect with me. But the mission for both of my organizations is near and dear to my heart. The growth of these organizations mean the world to me, and just your involvement with them shows that we can connect at some point in the near future, and I would love to do it, whether you're across the nation, whether you just have some information to share that could help me in my mission. I would love to know what it is, and if I missed the comment, please reach out and let me know what it was. I would love to continue this discussion with all of you.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, now y'all see I get a chance to work with brilliance every day, and Hakeem is a key part of that. Thank you very much, Hakeem. I know he was a little bit nervous coming to present to y'all, but Hakeem, you did it flawlessly. You always make it look effortless. Also, Hakeem is the host of CARE's Bark About It podcast. So you can also find that on our website. He's a great host, so he's a man of multiple talents. So go check him out, and The Block That Gives Back on social media, and learn more about his programming and what he's doing in Philadelphia around CARE's work there. And thank y'all all for being here. And hey, ask questions if y'all need some advice on engaging community and building trust. It's out there and it's simple. It is not hard to do. Just shoot someone an email that you're familiar with who's doing the work. Peace and blessings, everyone. Happy to be here. Great working with you, Sonia. Have a great week, y'all.